Good day, everybody. How's it going? Aziz Wahab?
Quite difficult.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, but it's going well. Yeah.
Difficult? Really? No. Everything is easy. Remove the headaches, remove the troubles. Just keep it all easy. Easy peasy.
I see two opposing point of views over here. So, yeah, well, let's talk about that. Should we pursue easy things or difficult things in our daily lives? What are the takes?
I am definitely for challenging yourself, pursue difficulties, and do things that make you uncomfortable. Do things that make you grow.
Oh, yeah.
I hope Wahab agrees too, to be honest, because we'd hate to turn this into a conflict.
You know what I agree with? The thing that I think should be the most challenging thing in your life is to try to find a way to make today easier than tomorrow. I mean easier than yesterday, so that tomorrow becomes easier than today, which is yesterday for tomorrow.
Exactly. Well, that is a complicated situation, but yeah, I guess there is something to it, as a matter of fact. So if we do something kind of challenging, right, we can get it out of the way today, then tomorrow will be easier. So, which brings us to the situation that indeed we need to pursue actually difficult things, get them out of the way, and that way life can become a little bit less complicated, a little bit less hard, because you'll have less problems to deal with, for example, and eventually you'll be able to kind of like better deal with life in general, I would say.
I 100% agree. And this comes down to, especially if you tie it back to, let's say, like a year-ish ago,
Yes.
when we talked about validation versus fulfillment, right? Validation comes easy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Comes and goes easily. But then fulfillment comes down from, like something that's goal-oriented, result-oriented. Whether it's, you learning a new instrument, you picking up a new sport, whether it be combat sport, whether it be team sport, and then you learning a
Exactly.
new language, taking a course, learning a skill, anything really. All of these
Yes.
are challenging things that force you to stay focused, that force you to overcome the challenges, and then eventually, as the time and the journey goes on, and like whichever you choose to pursue, whichever difficulty you choose to pursue, you're gonna feel the joy in progressing. You're gonna feel the joy in improvement. But there's no progress, there's no improvement, nor joy that comes with it if you
Yes.
don't do the necessary thing of, pursuing that difficulty, pursuing that challenge as a way to build yourself, to grow, to progress,
Yes.
and just to keep adding skill sets to your own self, really.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Exactly right. If you think about that, I would just kind of draw some sort of analogy. I was thinking about, let's say, if you want to have, let's say, your living quarters in an easy way, you might as well just, for example, live in the street, right? Or live in the forest, in the woods, things like that. But if you want to live in the house, then you need to build a house, and then that is conceivably more difficult than just to go into the woods and then just live there, right? So just kind of like this simple thought with this example can transfer us to more like variable or other aspects of life, actually, in which we actually should pursue difficulties to bring ourselves to the next level.
Wow.
Yes, I love that statement. This actually reminded me of the foreword from David Goggins' book. And in the foreword, there was one sentence that to this day, I keep thinking of it anytime I find myself seeking the easy way out, seeking the quick solution, or not even seeking a solution, just not engaging at all because I'm encountered with a difficult situation or like a tough time. And
Yes.
what that sentence was is that it started with warning.
Oh.
You're in danger of living a life so comfortable that you will die without ever knowing your true potential.
Ah, okay.
That sentence, you can relate it to almost anything. Like, a diamond is formed when a coal goes through just enough pressure. Coals,
Yes.
like we know, are very common. But then when pressurized, when it encounters difficulty, it becomes like this rough, beautiful diamond. And that's what we have to do. Like, no one
Right.
really sits in like a very comfortable environment, so relaxed, says, you know what, I need to make things harder right now. Like, when was the last time you saw someone sitting and relaxing in a hot tub saying, you know what, this is too relaxing, I need to take a cold plunge right now? That never happens, because us as primal human creatures, when we are someplace relaxed and comfortable, our brain likes to tell us, yes, stay there, this is good for us.
Homeostasis.
Outside, danger, bad, don't go there. Here, good, stay there.
Exactly. Yeah, if you think about kind of this house versus, let's say, living in the forest analogy, right? So if you, build the house, then, that's going to be kind of partially an example of your potential realization, right? You can realize yourself as a builder of houses, for example, right? And then later on, as you live in the house, maybe you can start reading books, maybe you can start writing books. You can cook some sort of great meals, right? And maybe start working from the house, for instance, if we continue down this crazy thought path way, right? And then many other things. Yeah, I think it's a good kind of like segue to realizing your potential and kind of basically pushing yourself towards doing some sort of great things, which otherwise you cannot do unless you pursue difficult stuff.
See, and I love these points of pursuing difficult things, and like you won't feel good if you're in your comfort zone and all, because number one, the comfort zone is where, like your goals tend to die.
Yeah.
Where you are just stagnant in life. You're not going to be pursuing anything. You're not going to be progressing in any way. And then the way I like to think about this is like, think of two different daily routines, right?
Oh yeah.
Excuse me. Take the first routine of, someone that wakes up early from an alarm clock. They want to sleep more, but, it's difficult to wake up when you have to wake up, right?
Yes.
You get to action. You wake up, you go, you take your shower, you freshen up and everything, and then you make yourself a wholesome breakfast, which is difficult to make because that takes time.
Yeah.
And then you get
And
ready,
skill.
you show up to work, you do what you need to do over there.
Right.
And then after work, whether you're good, whether you're tired, whether you're drained, that's when you typically would be like, okay, now it's time to go train. Like whether you go to the gym, whether you're playing a sport, anything,
Yes.
you go and you tire yourself out over there. And then at the end, you come back home, you have a good dinner, and then you basically like follow a nice, healthy nighttime routine so that you can go to sleep well. At the end of the day, like you following that structure of a routine of, difficult things and putting yourself through challenges and everything, make yourself uncomfortable,
Yes.
like you're going to end your day with feeling like you have earned your rest. Like you're going to sleep well, hopefully. And then versus like you take it to a routine of someone that, like wakes up like 5 minutes before they have to leave for work, like wake up, get dressed, go. You are not going to go and present yourself in a good way. You're not going to present yourself in a good manner, and you're not going to have good interactions with people.
Yeah. Yeah.
After work, you come back home, you take a nap, you wake up, you eat, and then you watch TV, you go to sleep. Everything in that routine was easy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then
That's right.
that person that pursued everything easy is not going to end their day feeling like they've earned their rest, feeling like they feel good, feeling like they're going to be ready for what's next.
Exactly.
So this comes down to one of the things I heard, and it's by this man named Jay Alderton. He mentioned
Oh yeah.
that if he like his quote is summarized this way: it's like easy things, hard life, hard things, easy life.
Right. Yeah.
Which means if you put yourself through challenges, if you put yourself through uncomfortable situations, you're going to be forced to overcome difficulties. You're going to be forced
Exactly.
to grow.
Yeah.
You're going to be forced to, basically like step out of there. And that comes down from you basically calloused yourself. You basically conditioned yourself to be used to uncomfortable situations, to be used to difficulties.
Yes.
That's why the its and bits of life's daily challenges are going to be like a breeze for you. Whereas someone that's not used to challenges, someone that likes to stay away from difficulties, are going to get overwhelmed and stressed from the simplest of things, or the simplest of difficulties. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a great point. I was just thinking about how I realized that in order to become better, I need to start pursuing difficult things, which would put me outside my comfort zone, and then this will help me develop myself, develop some new skills, realize the potential. So I think I would converge kind of at this point with the David Goggins statement, right? And what was on my mind is that, how do I start? What can I do? Thankfully, there are resources such as the famous Project 50, so where over the course of 50 days you do some things which definitely put you outside your comfort zone. But actually they start the requirements are very simple, right? So, and then what I kind of got from there, so if I were to distill this information, is that basically you just need to start waking up earlier than normal, right? So for example, maybe I used to wake up whenever it was convenient for me, just to be basically barely on time to show up in the lab and then start doing research, right? Something like that. So maybe, I need to be in the lab by 9 a.m. I need to wake up right around 8, and then I'll be fine. Maybe it could be even wake up at 9 a.m. and show up at 10, right? So there was no particular strict schedule to follow. So that was kind of not the best way. But then I started waking up before 8 a.m., right? Over the course of about 50 days to establish this habit of waking up earlier. And then that was very helpful because basically I had more hours of the day to me, right? And then I had those productive hours of the morning, as people refer to them. So they were available to me quite easily. Then another difficult thing, which I also had to pursue, is to perform a routine for 1 hour every day, right, over the course of 50 days. So that was definitely something very helpful because, this was kind of a small thing, but it gives you a good start of the day. And then, as Aziz was mentioning, you'll be able to interact better with the people, right? You'll be able to better perform at work. And that's what was happening. I was able to carry over these routine results into the work day and be successful there. So then also one of the requirements was just to train every day, at least for 1 hour, which I was able to do. And then, that was a great experience. So it kind of makes you physically more fit, and then also into do something intellectual, right? So if I were to recall this correctly, so such as read 10 pages of some sort of non-fiction book every day. So maybe it's going to be a self-development book, let's say, or something from philosophy, things like that. So I was doing that, and this was also difficult for me because I was did not have this habit. But as I was doing that, it was kind of becoming more and more comfortable for me. And then, it's fun. Let's go. That's what I felt.
Well,
That feeling of,
go.
yes, that feeling of come on, let's go, let's do it. That doesn't develop overnight, especially when, if you take the mindset of someone who's lived a comfortable and soft life, because that used to be my life earlier. I remember in high school it would just be come home, play video games, eat a lot of food, go to sleep.
That's one approach. Yeah, absolutely. Very popular.
Of health, nothing. And with the sentence of pursue difficulties, the one thing I'd want to clarify is that when we say pursue difficulties, we don't necessarily mean from here on out every day wake up, 4 a.m.
Yeah.
go on a 5-mile run and then come back and,
Exactly.
hunt your food. No. When we say pursue difficulties, difficult can just be anything new and unknown. Like the reason why it's difficult is because you now have to think differently. You now have to behave differently than you normally do. And us as humans, we perceive it as difficult because, if you have someone who's just an apple farmer, my
Yes.
entire life I've just grown apples. Now I have to grow oranges. I have farming experience, yes, but not in oranges. So now I'm thinking to myself, oh no, what am I gonna do? It's a
Yes.
completely different mindset. I can't do this. I'm only good at, growing apples. This itself
Yeah.
is the first step of pursuing difficulty, where you knowingly understand that now I'm in a different area. It's gonna take a different approach. I'm gonna have to do some research, some reading. Then I'm gonna have to do some tests, trial and error. And that's fine. Trial and error does not necessarily mean failure. It means you tried. There was a mistake, you learned, you noted it, okay,
Yeah.
different approach. And that can be said with anything new. Like if you've never played an instrument in your life, if you've never played a particular sport,
Right.
if you want to learn a new language. Those are great ways to start. If you want to place yourself in that environment where you now have to behave and think differently. And even if, let's say for example, this is too much, remove one pleasure from your life. Is just pick one and just eliminate it.
That's a good attack. Yeah. Absolutely.
These placements of purposely allowing yourself to sit somewhere difficult and then taking a step back and then re-entering again. Because I think the biggest mistake you can do is not entering, but sprinting fully inside,
Yes.
realizing that this is a very deep body of water that you don't know how to swim yet. So you leave in fear and
Exactly.
you never approach again. Instead of, learning how to float, then learning how to paddle, then learning how to swim and dive.
Yeah.
You need to take these steps. It is hard, and yes, many people are gonna go, well, there's no instructions for this behavior and everyone is different.
Yeah.
Like, what did you think? This life we live did not come with instructions,
Oh yeah.
but it came with guidelines. And guidelines are there to sort of behave as, the rails in the bowling alleys, when you can put the option, like if the ball goes too far away to the edge, it kind of taps it back.
Yes.
This is what guidelines are like, these rails that instead of losing and not being able to score, it still keeps us in the lane. You might not get a strike,
Yeah.
but you'll take one down, which is fine.
Exactly.
I think over all these points we talk about and all, like we say pursue difficulties, we say make your life challenging, but we're not spreading the message to people of number one, do not go burn yourself out. Do not go be
Exactly.
an idiot. And by that I mean, like, let's say if someone wants to now pursue a new difficulty in their lives and they want to go, start training.
Yes.
They want to go lift weights. They want to go do whatever. Like, you're not going to show up the first day and you're not going to go and burn yourself out. You're not going to go make yourself extremely tired and all. It's just going to
Yeah.
prevent you from going to doing it again the next day. We don't want that. Someone
Very
that's
true.
not used to running, you're not going to put on your running shoes or whatever and then go run for 5 miles and whatnot and go and tire yourself out there. No. We say pursue difficulties, we mean by that build the habits of
Yeah.
getting yourself used to being uncomfortable, getting yourself used to being in challenging situations, but not in
Yes.
situations where you're going to burn yourself out. Because number one, burnout is a real thing. like when you burn yourself out, you are physically and mentally drained.
Yeah.
And that's gonna prevent you from showing up and doing it again. Now,
Yep.
if you're someone that's more of a veteran in the life of pursuing difficulties, like the three of us over here, like I think it's very okay where we get those moments every now and then where like you want to go and test your limits, you want to go and push yourself to like something extreme. Every now and then, that's fine to do.
Yeah.
For someone that wants to build good habits of being uncomfortable, being challenging, like start simple, start slow. Like, you know, if someone like has never trained or worked out before and want to go train and work out,
Yeah.
start easy, start simple, and build
Right.
up there slowly. Someone that has a bit of social anxiety, like you're not going to go speak in front of hundreds of people or go to like a TED talk, for example, to like, you know, ease your social anxiety or like build up your social skills. No. Start
Yeah.
out by having just like a small talk conversation with like the cashier or some random person.
Absolutely.
Slowly build up on this.
Yep,
Or like
yep.
take what we do, for example. We're here talking to each other and we're gonna show it to people. Right? Like these are simple things that we do to build our own skill sets so that we get used to these things, that we develop these things even further. Like,
Exactly.
it's all about, you know, working smart and working
Yeah.
hard, but working smart before working hard. Like you don't want to work too easy. You don't want to make things too easy, but like you want to have some challenge to it, but you also want to be
Yeah.
able to come back and do it again as soon as you can.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is by not burning yourself out, really.
This is an excellent point about kind of the measured, balanced approach, I would say, to those difficult things, right? And then from my perspective, what I would say is that, yeah, for example, there was a time and place when I didn't train at all. For example, I was just, let's say, going to work, right? Or I was doing research and taking classes, right, at the graduate school level, and that was it, right? So, and then I remember there was an example of one person. I saw that person at the gym, so he just showed up and then did the workout, I think, for 2 hours at least, because I was just working out for 1 hour, and that's it, right? And then he was there for 2 hours trying all the machines and all the possible exercises, and he showed up before me, left after I left, I assume, and then I never saw him again at this particular gym, right? So that's kind of like brings us to this example of the burnout. So, well, you kind of like overkill something, and yeah, well, it's one and done. So to speak, you might as well never come back to that again, right? So, and then also speaking of like simple things, right? So you don't have to, yeah, as like Aziz was saying, challenge yourself to like let's say fight against the best fighters right away, right? So you can start with maybe punch in the bag, for example, right? Without maybe like even light sparrings at all. Just punch the bag by yourself under the guidance, right, of the coach. So thankfully, lots of those things are available for like to help us these days, right? So in my experience, for example, what I started is that I decided, okay, well, I'm going to be more disciplined when it comes to the orderliness of my room, and then I'll just be making the bed, for example, every morning, right? Then I'll brush my teeth, believe it or not. So that was also kind of like difficult, right? So if you kind of like don't care about the like particular routine and the habits that are even like vital, for example, right? And then that was a good start for me. Okay, well, now I feel better, and now I can take up something more difficult, such as going to the gym, right? Then to the gym I would add more of the hybrid training, such as like running and lifting weights, and so on, so on. So that was kind of like my initial steps, and then what I was adding, and that was just kind of like more challenging activities, right? The next one would be kind of to start swimming, and now you are in the sports of triathlon. And it all started for me was just kind of like the thinking about routines and then executing them. Of course, you cannot just think about stuff and then thinking that it will happen by itself. But yeah, start with small things, identify them, be concrete, clear, and specific. And then, yeah, this will definitely be helpful and will get you going, and you will avoid the burnout, especially kind of at the beginning, which is kind of like not the most optimal thing to have.
100% agree. And speaking of burnout, we don't want to burn out our audience way too much.
Oh, yeah.
How much time we...
We'll come back.
Yeah. We'll talk more. We'll talk more another time for sure. We always do.
Exactly. Well, it's been a good run. So, any conclusive remarks?
I just want to say, play it smart.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself. Be smart about it, and make sure that you can always come back and challenge yourself again. Don't burn yourself out. Be smart.
And be smart and.
Just be smart.
Oh, okay.
Makes
The,
sense.
the Zoom lag is making a bit of interference, but one thing I definitely think would help
Yeah.
is picture who you want to be,
Uh-huh. Potential.
and then take that image and multiply it by 10. Because whenever we picture who we want to be, we aren't really true to ourselves. We might think, oh, you know what, I have a six-pack, I'm a little bit fitter, I know how to handle myself, and I'm pretty well off.
Yeah.
Multiply that by 10.
Hmm.
Now what happens is whatever image you have should scare you. And that's how you know you have the right image. Because now we're thinking, well, there's no way I'm never going to be that person.
Yeah.
And what happens is if you aim for the moon and land in the stars, still a hell of a view.
Yeah. You can see the moon from there too.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah. No. Being scared is a good thing for sure. Yeah. It means you're on the right track.
Indeed. And this is going to be a good segue for another conversation, probably. How to deal with fears. What about that? This gives us some good thoughts. Well,
Discuss.
we'll challenge ourselves to do that difficult thing, such as talking about fears and how to deal with them from our perspective. Hopefully this will be helpful. Anyway, so we're going to wrap it up, and then I just wanted to thank you everybody for tuning in. Please leave a comment, subscribe if you find this information useful, and we'll continue bringing more useful content to everyone who is tuning in and listens and or watches. So I would also like to say that this episode was sponsored by fasting for a lot of hours during the day, and also hydration, which is very much necessary and healthy for you. So that was enough to record this podcast episode, by the way. If I can do it, then you can do it.
So can you.
All right.
Take care.
Well, bye everyone. See you later.